Hey everybody, welcome to a festive edition on my channel. This is 5 Christmas games to add to the spectrum. I couldn't find many great ones, and I also couldn't find loads with reviews, so this is going to be a bit of a mixed bag, this video, but as it's the festive season, I thought why not add these games. So anyway, here we go. Here are 5 Christmas games to add to the spectrum. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so the first game we're going to talk about is the official Father Christmas game, released in 1989 by Alternative Software Limited. I'm going to do these a bit shorter than normal, so we're going to go through them a little bit quicker than we normally do. This was released for £2.99, also came out on Amstrad CPC and Commodore 64. It says here, themes, Christmas theme, which is handy for us really. Features charity, not quite sure what that means, but there we go. Apparently that's what it says. So yeah, reviews were extremely lacking for this. In fact, I only found one review, so we're forced to go with what we've got on this one. We're not messing about here, we're going straight into the review. I know normally I take a lot longer to get to the review, but we're going into it now, and this is a Your Sinclair review, which I shall read to you now. I've always thought that Santa and Mario have a lot in common. They both have stupidly rosy cheeks, ludicrous facial hair, dress sense are only marginally more respectable than that of Criss Cross. Oh my god, that shows the age of this, doesn't it? And yet they're both sickeningly popular. Makes you think, doesn't it? No, get on with it. Thousands of disillusioned readers. This particular little japester escaped the clutches of the Your Sinclair jugglers in Spook, I don't know what that means, Christmas 1989. So here I am reviewing it, or more properly, staring listlessly at it, wondering vaguely what to say. Right, it's a 3-parter. Here they are in turn. Part 1 is a vast, all of 6 screens, collect them up, and set in Santa's grotto, where you have to find the 8 parts of his sleigh and assemble them one by one. Apparently the waggish old elves are responsible for this, but if anyone tries to tell me that the tiny cheesy little waggers scuttling about and stealing the pieces back if they touch you are elves, I shall flare my nostrils dangerously, call down some moderately dreadful curses, and brandish a dog-eared copy of Lord of the Rings under the nose of the insolent fool. So I will. Some of the words on this review are absolutely crazy. But anyway, this bit's okay, but more in the hurry up and get on with it in the next bit league than the hang around wallowing in the excitement of it all one. I don't know who's writing this review, but their writing style is really weird. On to part 2, which is very bleep indeed. I'm not going to swear on this because one of my videos got demonetized for swearing, so, and I don't consider the word that's on the screen swearing, but we know YouTube probably does, and I don't really want to talk about it. Okay then, it's about a space fillery as space fillers realistically get, and it involves you as Santa, of course, choosing presents to go on someone's Christmas list, presumably as opposed to giving them what they asked for, you cold-hearted swine, then collecting them as they fall from the air. A clever tactic here is to stand still, wait till the toys you need have fallen on you. It's that difficult. Sigh. Life's so depressing at times, but enough philosophy, as I believe JD once said. Right, part 3, which I suppose is meant to be the main part of it all, involves actually delivering prezzies all over the world, 4 continents with 6 presents each. Funky mathematics and no mistake. No sprite animation, no variety, a feeling of cheapness and suspicious visual similarity to Santa's Xmas caper, which we'll be talking about soon, don't really add to this, but it does have the ever so spooky adhesive clouds from Dimension Plib that sweep off your prezzies in a manner which can only be described as irk. Planes and birds knock the gifts off target too, which is ever so impressive of them, and the landscapes are distinguishingly stereotyped. Mud huts in Africa, terraced houses in Europe, etc. Yeah, verily, 'tis a bit on the blank side. Bleep side, should I say? Well, she'd stop using that. I didn't think they could use words like that in these magazines. I mean, I'm not offended by the word at all, but I know YouTube will be, so I'm really trying desperately not to say them. Well then, the summing uppy bit draws in, and thus I must sum up. The official Father Christmas A, it's not great, let's face it. It's monstrously easy. The only way you can die, tedium notwithstanding, being the feeble time limit, so it should take you 1 game to complete. Sounds minimal, graphics on average are very average, but it just ain't fun. And why is it official? Did they track down Santa and get his TM? Je ne pense pas, or whatever. Okay, just a bit of French for you then, randomly thrown in. It's by Enigma Variations too, who really should know better, firmly slapped wrists. And just because it's for a good cause, save the children, doesn't mean they can just fling out any old pile of Les Dennis. Oh my god. This review is just weird. Well, that's it from me, but before I nick off, I'd just like to bellow rousing hellos in the general direction of the mildly extraordinary Flat 155 and its denizens, and also to Cara, Sally, Signa, and all the other mud mates for no reason other than I know it will irritate Jonathan. Ho ho, gosh, I'm a rogue. That quite honestly is the weirdest review I have ever read. I'm surprised that ever got published. Final verdict, it's all for charity. 2 of the 3 games are depressingly bleep. God, again, the third's not too good either. If I were the official Santa, I'd sue, basically. Okay, 43%. So there you go. Not a great game, not a great start, I guess, but I thought it didn't look too bad graphically, personally, but to each their own. This is Lee, not spelt the way my name's spelt, but who reviewed this, so I don't know. I think not quite sure if he was high on Christmas booze or whatever when he did this review, or other things, but certainly one of the weirdest reviews I've ever had the displeasure of reading. Let me know if you've played this. I don't think I've ever played a Christmas game, or a lot of, I didn't play it at the time when they came out, so yeah, I have no experience of any of these games, so let me know if you've played it and what you think in the comments, as always. Okay, the next game we're going to talk about is Santa's Christmas Caper, also known as Santa's Xmas Caper, or You Are Santa Claus, released in 1991 by Zeppelin Games Limited. Described as an arcade game, shoot 'em up. Interesting. Theme's Christmas theme, of course. Original price £3.99 and released on Amstrad CPC, Commodore 64 and Amiga. It says on remarks here, features the following Christmas carols with some oddly flattened notes. We wish you a Merry Christmas, Silent Night, Good King Wenceslas and We Three King. Also, it says the first preview for this game was named You Are Santa Claus, thought to be going for £2.99. We have a review for this one, which you'll be pleased to hear, and it's a colourful review, which I'm all in favour of. The only downside to it is it's very tiny. So there's not a lot to read here, unfortunately, which means this is probably going to be a very short entry into this list. Did actually score pretty good though for most of these games, but anyway, we'll get to that in a second. Let's read the review. Label Zeppelin, memory 48K 128K, price £3.99, and it says, hey ho, Merry Christmas, splat. Poor Santa has just been charged by a red toy steam train and suckered by a toy dart gun. Luckily he has almost as many lives as a cat, so with some skill and more than a little perseverance, he'll still be able to deliver presents to all the waiting kiddies. You are Santa on his sleigh, flying through the air on a wing and a prayer, flinging snowballs at dangerous flying presents and spiteful snowmen. The object of the first 2 levels of the game is to battle through the city where thousands of kids are waiting for their prezzies by finishing off end of level snowmen and reindeer, then drop presents on the sleepy houses below in the last level while nasty gremlins try to foil your plan and bring misery to childkind, the rotters. The soundtrack is a sad but seasonal version of We Wish You a Merry Christmas, and the graphics, although cheerful and colourful, cause some crazy sprite confusion. Santa's Christmas Caper will give you a few short hours of enjoyment on the big day itself and then get put away for another year and the next generation of games players. Really good for the younger ones though. We have a criticism here as well, very short one. Garth: I believe in Father Christmas, but I couldn't believe this game. It's so cute, but not for your streetwise Black Knight toting vid kid, but should appeal to the youngsters that still believe in Santa, like me. Scores: graphics 64, sound 53, playability 71, lastability 61, overall 64%. Big Al Dykes, I don't know what that means, unless that's the bloke reviewing it. I guess it must be, because that's a strange thing to throw in at the end of a review. And it says, come all ye faithful, Santa's Christmas Caper is just the sort of thing to keep your little brother away from your new remote control aeroplane on Christmas Day. So that's it for the review on that one. Yes, another kind of similar game, I guess, where you have to eventually, and the final level, deliver presents. I guess what are you going to do if you make a Christmas game about Santa? You are going to have present delivery at some point. I mean, this one's at least slightly different in the sense that you've got to gun down a load of things with snowballs, but all in all, it's a budget game, this one, and you don't want to say too little about budget games because some of them were good, but obviously they do get made on a budget, which means it's not going to be like a AAA high-end game, is it? Probably, but for the time and for the subject, I would say not a bad effort at all. Certainly one of the top 2 probably on this list without a shadow of a doubt. Let me know if you've played it as ever in the comments below, and let me know if you'll be adding it to your Spectrum. I'll probably give it a go. Like I said, as it's the season, I'm not really doing Christmas this year, but it is Christmas. You can't get away from it, can you? It's everywhere. Even when you're trying not to think about Christmas, Christmas is there, and I am a Christmas lover at heart. It's just obviously, I have my reasons for not liking it this year and the last year as well. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that. We just say add it if you feel like you want a festive game to play. And I'm not going to rank all of these, but certainly this is one of the better ones on this list, so bear that in mind. Okay, the next game we have is Merry Xmas Santa, released in 1984 from Icon Software Limited, £5.95, also available on the BBC Micro. Described as arcade game game platform. And again, it's a game that I never knew existed before I did this video. This one's going to present a bit more of a problem in the sense that we don't have official reviews for this. I've cobbled together a couple of pictures which are available on the website. We're going to take a look at the advert for the game, and also we're going to look at an article. It's just a little small article that's on a magazine, and also I'll read a couple of reviews from like an independent website that also popped up with a link. There's about 12 reviews on it, all from like the 2010s, so it's not from the time, but I'll read a couple of things what people had to say, just more than anything to make this game not just like a 2-minute wonder on here, you know. We'll have a look at what we've got on here. So firstly, we've got the advert on the left. On the right, we've got this little article, so we'll read the article first, and then we'll take a look at the advert. Okay, so it's right in the center of the screen. Obviously it says Santa's Spree. It may seem early days, but Icon has released Merry Xmas Santa, an extravaganza of arcade action and fun, according to Icon. Santa's task is to deliver presents to all good children. However, he has hazards to encounter, such as marauding snowmen, flying snowballs, and dropping icicles. But Santa has some treats in store. He can eat as much cake, plum pudding, and sherry as he can on his travels. Merry Xmas Santa costs $5.95 on Spectrum and $7.95 on BBC Electron. It's a bit weird. And then it's got about a couple of other games there. Ultron and Wongo are 2 arcade games also released by Icon at the same time. Don't know what they are, but you can see them on this advert on the left. Wongo looking slightly stereotypical of a Chinese person, isn't it? That's yeah, okay, we'll gloss over that one. Here's the advert anyway. We'll concentrate on Merry Xmas Santa, and it says here, Merry Xmas Santa, high-res, full-colour arcade action as Santa delivers presents on Xmas Eve. Avoid hostile snowmen, flying snowballs, slippery roofs, icicles, etc., while devouring as much cake, pudding, and sherry as possible on the way. But be careful, Santa doesn't get tipsy, because who knows what might happen. And then it's got the same prices we just repeated a second ago. I like this bit down the bottom here. Selected titles available from John Menzies, Co-op, Harrods used to sell ZX Spectrum games, really, Wildings, Granada, and most good computer shops. That's crazy. I do love these old adverts though when you see things like that. So I'll also read a couple of like these little independent reviews that we got here. First one by the Dean of Games says, I remember playing this one. It's a really frustrating game. Balls appear out of nowhere, sometimes within a pattern, sometimes not, making the game very irritating. The controls are not the best either. The graphics are cute and colourful despite the colour clashing happening everywhere. And despite being playable, the game still messes me up. A bit annoying for Christmas Day. You'll probably end up tearing apart all your unwanted gifts. Ringing endorsement there. The next one's from Dandy Boy. Dean of Games gave it 2. I think these are all out of 5. Dandy Boy at 3. A nice game, nice mobility. What the hell does that mean? And nice graphics. The atmosphere is cool in this video game, starring yeah, Santa Claus. Slip down into open chimneys and collect as many golden apples as you can. Do you know any better way of passing an Xmas holiday? A merry game for merry people in merry days. 3 out of 5. Golden apples? What the heck? Okay. And we're going to read one more by Geordie, who gave it 2. This isn't the worst Christmas out there, but it's not the kindest either. These games are supposed to be fun and jolly like Christmas itself, but this is far from it. As my brother stated in the previous review, okay, we didn't read his brother's, snowballs appear too randomly in this game for me, which spoiled the enjoyment, as it's more or less a case of luck throughout the game. If you want a lot of fun throughout Christmas, this definitely isn't the best option. 2. So there we go. I told you these games were not necessarily going to be quality games, but you know, if you want something with a Christmas theme, then Merry Xmas Santa might be the one for you. I'd love to know if any of you have completed any of these Christmas games. I would really be intrigued to hear that. Or if you've ever played any of them for a start, might be the starting point, mightn't it really? Because I know before this video, I never had any experience in playing any of them. Alright, next we have a game which hopefully will bring a bit more respectability to this list. It's the Snowman, and it's based upon the book by Raymond Briggs, released in 1984 by Quicksilver Limited, and I do actually have a review for this one, and it's a crash review, would you believe it? This is a arcade game platform, released for £6.95, also available on Commodore 64 and MSX. I'd like to remark down here, it says game based on the book by Raymond Briggs, and probably the cartoon on which Alan Jones sung. Just in case you didn't know what the Snowman was, there it is. A very colourful looking little title screen as well, I think you'll agree. Pretty good actually, pretty good looking screen. And the game itself looks interesting to say the least. So anyway, like I promised you, we are going to have a look at a crash review. Finally, it's not the biggest crash review we've ever had, which is good because I don't really fancy reading loads. But you'll see this one got some respectable scores. And now we'll read it. The Snowman's based on the episodes from Raymond Briggs' book of the same name, a very gentle comic strip story which uses uses absolutely no words and conveys the story entirely in its pictures. The game comprises of 4 stages, each with its own screen layout. It falls into the category of a platform game. In stage 1, you must collect 6 pieces of snow and drop them in the correct place, which results in the snowman being gradually built. There are gas flames darting about which will melt the snow if you touch one after picking it up and replace it elsewhere on the screen. Collecting an ice lolly earns a bonus and at the same time enables you to freeze a flame while the bonus is being counted up. Other objects award points: Christmas crackers, presents, stockings and a tree. Stage 2 has you trying to collect the snowman's scarf, hat, nose, buttons, eyes and smile, but there are sleep monsters trying to put you to sleep. An alarm clock will freeze one temporarily. Stage 3, and it's the snowman's tie, glasses, trousers, torch, skateboard and balloons, and again the sleep monsters are on the rampage. In stage 4, you must collect 6 ice cubes, stop the snowman from melting, but the gas flames are back again. In all 4 stages your energy is depleted and must be replaced by eating food which appears randomly for a few moments. That gets you going, but the next part of the game has a different screen layout. So that's the end of the review. That ends quite abruptly there, doesn't it? As always, we'll skip to the comments. We have: keyboard play better than joystick, responsive but finicky control because of the pixel movement. Use of colour very good. Graphics very good, pixel moving. Sound useful rather than exciting. Skill levels 1, lives 3, screens 4. General rating very good, addictive. So on to the criticism. It says the Snowman is an arcade game, although from its packaging you could be forgiven for thinking it's a children's game. In fact, it's a good arcade game, fun to play and has attractive graphics. The frosty blue colour adds to the effect too. My main criticism is that you have to be lined up exactly to climb or descend, and the same can be said of moving off onto a ledge. With 14 ledges and 20 ladders in the first screen, this turns out to be no namby-pamby game at all. It's true that monsters aren't exactly chasing you, at least the gas flames don't try and get you, but once you have that snow, it's a fraught business getting it safely to the dropping point, especially when energy is falling and there isn't a Christmas pud or a turkey to eat in sight. Accuracy is essential when changing direction. It's very easy to fall off a ledge, which results in you falling all the way into your bed at the base of the screen. Surprisingly addictive. This is a very original game idea, although the basic formula is quite a familiar one. I found it a little irritating at first. It's so hard to line your man up to change direction. You're forced to keep the change of direction key pressed while still moving in the first direction, so the change is made automatically at an intersection. This all too often results in falling off a ledge. On the other hand, it does increase the skill required. I soon found that the keyboard is best. The finickiness of the control seems even worse with a joystick. Despite the control problems, the Snowman turns out to be a frustratingly addictive game. Good. Use of computer 68%, graphics 89%, wow, that's shot up there. Playability 83%, getting started 80%, addictive quality 70%, value for money and overall both scored 78%. So there you go. Far and away the highest scoring game on this list of games. And yeah, from what I played of these, definitely the pick of the bunch. I'd love to know if you've played this one. I would be intrigued. It's a game that I didn't actually know existed, I've got to be honest, before I started doing this video. Wasn't aware, didn't even search for this. I only saw this when I called up a list on Google of Christmas games because I was running out of options. I was like finding a load of games that really, they were just like text adventures and stuff, and I was thinking I'm just not going to have 5 games here, and I didn't think of looking for Snowman, and this game popped up. So yeah, let me know if you've played it. I would have probably played this as a kid, to be honest, if I knew that it existed, because I was a big fan of the cartoon. And the final Christmassy game we're going to talk about is Moly Christmas, released in 1987. It says here original publisher Magazine, Your Sinclair, within cover tape Your Sinclair issue 25, smash tape 5, but I'm pretty sure Gremlin Graphics made this, the same people that do all the Monty Mole games. We're going to say it was by Gremlin Graphics. Obviously it didn't cost any money. There was some article that said it cost 50p, so I'm assuming they charged an extra 50p for the magazine with this tape on, and that's all it cost, which is amazing when you think it's a full game. So that's crazy, isn't it? Arcade game, platform, and themes, Christmas theme, but because obviously this came on the front cover of a magazine, this hasn't got a review, so we've had to cobble together a couple of pictures here, which I'm going to show you in a second, which are just going to be representative of the game. I haven't actually got any reviews to show you. Well, we've got that website where I read some reviews off before, so I'll probably read a couple of those again. Anyway, let's have a look at the pictures I've assembled. The first one on the left we're going to look at is the cover of the Your Sinclair that gave the game away. Obviously, for anyone who's unfamiliar with these magazines, and I doubt there's many of you, the tape was stuck where that little square is, because you can see that says stop. If you can read this, Monty's missing. Dig him up at the counter now. It might be that people took the tape off, like news agents and stuff, so they didn't get the magazine stolen. See, I'm wondering, it says £1.50 for the magazine, so I'm wondering if they charged an extra 50p. So I'm pretty sure in the next picture we show you, it tells you that the game cost 50p. So yeah, I'm assuming that they probably usually used to charge £1. I can't remember. Don't remember ever buying this one because I didn't remember this game existed. So it does say as well there, Gremlins Moly Christmas as well. So just in case we had any doubts. And on this side, there's a lovely little cutout case that you could assemble, which I love that, you know, if you want to put it in your own cassette case, which is very cool. Your exclusive gremlin game, Moly Christmas. Road race drove you around a bend, Batty sent you Batty, and play for your life put everything in the balance. So what's our last game on the cover for the time being? Only a brand new Monty game from Gremlin. That's what. Are we skill or are we skill? Well, there's a phrase from the 80s. I'm not going to go over the how to play thing. I'm going to that'll be on the screen and you can read that. I was going to read the stuff below it because we don't want to read too much on here. I love this bit as well. Tape troubles. If your copy of Moly Christmas fails to load, even if you've corrected your deck with an azimuth alignment program and a screwdriver, I don't know what the hell an azimuth alignment program is, send the tape in a large, strong envelope to Monty Returns, blah, blah, blah. And make sure you enclose a similar self-addressed envelope with at least 18 pence on it. 18 pence. Please don't phone or send your game to the office as we cannot deal with a problem here. The exclusive copy of Moly Christmas is only available on copies of Your Sinclair sold in the UK and on all subscription copies. Sorry, we can't send copies abroad on request. So if you want any of our exclusive cover games, get a sub. There may well be another free game on the cover before long, so look out for news. I like the way they addressed, copies that didn't work as well. That's very cool. Okay, we'll read this. This is where it says it about 50p. It says, you can't knock it, can you? What other mag in the known universe hands out spanking new games for just 50p rather than just demos or a half screen masquerading as a game? As for the latest of our cover extravaganzas, we have what can only be described as a world exclusive Scoop Shock Horror Pro. Okay, the final, the ultimate, the very last Monty game. And more than that, it's completely exclusive to the skillest specky mag of the age, Your Sinclair. They really going for the skill comment, weren't they there? Those wacky funksters at Gremlin have written this especially for us and therefore you, so you won't see this anywhere else in the world. No, not even in Ipswich. Okay. If you want the final Monty game in all eternity, you'll have to buy this magazine. Don't leave the newsagents without it. 6 screens of positively molecular action await you as Monty comes out of retirement yet again take part in his most daring challenge yet, getting this game from the programmers onto the cover of Your Sinclair. Now you may wonder how this game has got onto the cover if you have to play it in order to get it onto the cover. So do we. Phil's got quite a stomachache trying to work it all out. But that's enough of this, indeed that. Before you load it up and get Monty in, chew on this. If you get past the 6th screen, there's a special message to congratulate you on finishing the game. What does it say? The first person to send in the correct answer will win 15 games from the Your Sinclair library. Can't be bad, eh? But be warned, last time we did anything like this, we got the first reply within 48 hours of the mag hitting the streets. So if you're quick off the mark, write to, and then it's got their address. And let's have some hints and tips, we hope you enjoy it. Moly Christmas. So there we go. I love little competitions like that. They were so cool, weren't they? I wonder if any of you guys were any of the winners. Probably not. That would be very random, wouldn't it, if that was the case, but you never know. We'll read a little bit of the how to play. Moly Christmas is a platform game which you must guide Monty around various screens, jumping, climbing, dodging and picking things up. Screen 1 shows Monty at Gremlin where he has to pick up all sorts of things, but most crucially a computer listing of the game. And it's on to Screen 2, the mastering plant. Monty must drop off the listing and pick up the master tape at the other end, while avoiding mole-eating tapes and other equally bizarre nasties. Screen 3 is the duplication plant which makes the cassettes from the master tape. Although we're putting over 100,000 Your Sinclairs out on the streets with Monty on the cover, the Gremlin programmers made their own estimate of our circulation, so Monty has to pick up how many cassettes to bring to London. 8. Thanks lads. Screen 4 is the M1 on which Monty tries to hitch a lift to the Great Metrop, and the final 2 screens show the YS offices and the newsagents you just bought your copy from. What do you mean you've only just bought 1 copy? Go out and buy 3 more this minute. So there we go. It's also got the controls on that cover as well, but I guess that's kind of like a little review there, so it's not too bad, is it? We've got a review in the end, and a couple of the user reviews from this website. I'll just read those. This is the longest one we've done so far in this video. Probably my favourite Christmas themed bit of gaming on the Spectrum, or at least that I can remember. Not quite as good as the other Monty Mole games, but it's a good slice of Monty style platform and ladders action. Merry Christmas. And they gave it 4 out of 5. Dandy Boy said a bit too difficult for my taste, but Moly Xmas sets its sights high. 4. So he still gave it a 4. This game doesn't come close to the quality of previous Monty games. It's understandable really, it wasn't a proper release. That's Rebel style without a cause. 3. Love the tune, but that's about it. Monty games never caught me, to be honest, so this one wasn't going to get me either. Getting to the 3rd screen was all I could manage. and he gave it 2. So, you know, not great reviews on here from the general public. There's a few 4s. This was a free game. This was a Dina game, said this. This was a free game in a magazine, and it's one of the best I've ever played, possibly one of the best games in the Monty series. All comes together quite nicely, from the graphics to the sound to the great playability and down to the plot. Contrary to other Monty games who follow the maze, collect objects, Jet Set Willy gameplay, Moly Christmas goes for the manic miner one screen at a time style, which for me is way more compelling and addictive. A great game, not only for fans of the series but for every lover of platforms. 4.5 points. So there you go. So there was a good review there amongst all those. I had fun playing it for the video, I know that, and I'm looking forward to having another go at this one. This and the Snowman probably were the 2 standouts, which wouldn't surprise you, I guess, and they're the 2 that I would be revisiting out of all of these. The rest of them, they may go on my spectrum, but I don't know. They may not. We'll see. But these are just suggestions for everybody if they want Christmas games. So if I can get my breath back, in summation, I would say, yeah, definitely a good one to add this. Let me know if you played it. Let me know if you ever saw that message at the end of the game as well. I would really be intrigued to know if you did. Okay, everybody, that was your list of 5 Christmas games to add to the spectrum. Those games again were the official Father Christmas game, Santa's Christmas Capers, Merry Xmas Santa, the Snowman, and Moly Christmas. Quite a mixed bag, I'm sure you'll agree there. And I'm not suggesting obviously that you add these games and they're going to be world beaters. As always, we just want a bit of variety on this system, and also it's seasonal, so it's the time, isn't it? You know, we put some creepy games on for Halloween. I thought it's got to be done. We've got to try and find some Christmas games. I know there are some games, like I was thinking about adding Gremlins Adventure and stuff like that. There are games that are set at Christmas or have a bit of a Christmas theme. I wanted to go full on Christmas with these ones. So yes, they're probably are better games out there that do have a Christmas connection, but these were just more like about Santa Claus and Snowman and stuff. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to go as Christmassy as I could. I know Moly Christmas doesn't quite fit, but we also mentioned Moly Christmas in another video, if you remember, and I said I'd never heard of the game, so I just kind of thought it was a good idea to look into that one. Just a shame we didn't have reviews for everything, but unfortunately it is what it is. These games aren't massively popular, so I guess, and also some of the times that they came out there just wasn't the reviews available. Anyway, as ever, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have a Merry Christmas. I'm rushing to get this video up before Christmas, so I really hope I do make it. I should do, actually, because I've got nothing but time on my hands, to be perfectly honest with you. And so hopefully this will be waiting for you on Christmas Day, or maybe even Christmas Eve. We'll see. It's the 20th of December at this present moment in time, so I've got a few days to put this up, so hopefully I will get around to finishing it. It just takes a while to go through the processes and everything, and all the editing of the audio and all that sort of stuff, you know. Should be no problem. Anyway, thanks very much, everybody. I hope you have a lovely Christmas, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye for now.